I'm Eric.
And I'm Ash.
And this is The Hash.
With Eric and Ash. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Kind of cold. That's why I'm wearing a vest.
You put a jacket on with sleeves.
But then I can't.
Oh my god.
I
Eye
have
roll.
these guns out.
Big eye roll.
What's up, everybody? Whoa. Whoa. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? Thanks for tuning back in. We got another podcast coming at you today from the three of us.
We do, the
Eric,
three of us.
Ash, and Luna, if you're watching the video here.
Hi.
But what are we talking about today, babe?
How to stay motivated.
Yeah, I think this is a big topic, especially, I mean, it really could relate to anything, but especially, I think health and fitness, motivation or lack thereof is a real thing.
Yeah.
So why don't you start us off?
Sure.
How do you stay motivated?
Well, I have a couple things, but I'll save the big one for the end. But number one is just set clear goals, because if you don't have clear goals, then you don't really have something you're working towards. You don't have something to keep you motivated. Set clear goals and have a strong why.
Why are you laughing?
Because I saw yours. I saw
Oh,
your
you
note.
did.
I stole it.
Cheater. Oh my gosh, we got somebody moving on the podcast
But yeah,
here.
that's number one. Just set clear goals so you have something to work towards, so you have that motivation. If you're kind of just like, I'm going to start working out, which that's fine. Any movement is great movement. But at the end of the day, if you really want to accomplish something, I think it's important to set clear, achievable goals.
Yeah, could not agree more. And that's kind of similar onto my list here as well, but that's okay. Sometimes you have to hear a message a couple times before it really sinks in. So that's what we're trying to do here. So yeah, I made some notes here as well. So how do you stay motivated? You don't. Yeah. And that might sound bleak, that might sound a little dark, but it's the truth. You don't stay motivated. I don't stay motivated. The most successful people in the world don't stay motivated. The fittest people in the world, they don't stay motivated. And so I think there's a better way of thinking about it. Because staying motivated, it's a feeling, right? It's like being sad or happy or feeling awkward. It's just a feeling and it's temporary. And I think the best sort of take on motivation that I heard was from Mark Manson, who, if you don't know who that is, he's the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, as well as a couple other books. And so it went something along the lines of most people wait for motivation to take action, which is wrong, because motivation doesn't just wash over you every day. Some days, but it's not a consistent daily thing. Just waiting for 11 o'clock for my motivation wave to wash over me. So, it comes and goes. So if you wait for motivation to get started on something, you're going to possibly be waiting a long time, and that's just not a great strategy for reaching your goals, whatever they may be, whether that's fitness related or not. So a better tactic that Mark gives is to just get started. And I know typically that's the hardest part, is just getting started. But once you do get started, you'll start to see a little bit of progress. You'll get pulled into whatever that thing is, whether it's a weight loss goal or a work goal or whatever. And that seeing progress, and getting pulled in is going to lead to more motivation. And then it just turns into this whole cycle of taking action, motivation. That motivation leads you to take more action, which leads you to get motivated again. And it just kind of goes round and round.
I love that.
So get started. Just start.
I love that you said,
even if it's anything.
I love that you said it's a feeling, sad, happy, and it isn't constant, which I think is just a really important thing to note, because even the people that are in amazing shape and reach insane goals, they're not motivated 24/7.
Yeah.
But I think that consistency kind of goes along with that. Is if you can just do it consistently,
Totally.
you will, again, just not rely on motivation to do the things that you want to do. They become habits.
Yeah. And so like, that's what like the last note I put here on that was like, you know, it really comes down to having the discipline to start, right? Instead of like how to be motivated 24/7, 365. It's about having that consistent discipline. Now, it's not saying like, you know, I just said get started. It's not like start and finish your goal every day. You know, it's just take a, you know,
small action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, just get started. Discipline of getting started. What else you got?
Having a plan that works for you. And I think that we all get so caught up on doing things a certain way because this person's doing it, that person's doing it a certain way. And like at the end of the day,
and you also don't know what you're trying to do, so you're looking up, you know, trying to like find the right way. And
yeah, so it's like finding what works for you, so you want to stay motivated and you stick with the consistency because you enjoy what you're doing. Not to say that everything is like in life is going to be enjoyable, but when you kind of like even for us, like we have been super motivated for the gym recently. And what I started doing is like, I need to switch it up. I was like, I am tired of just straight up strength training, you know, 4 or 5 exercises, like maybe doing cardio or not. Like that was just feeling super boring to me. So I had no motivation to do it. But when I switched it up and started doing a little bit of circuits, we started doing some other stuff, you know, just switching it up a little, which I know this like side note, but like if you're trying to reach specific physique goals, yeah, there's obviously a more optimal way to do it.
Anything like it typically comes down to like I feel like there's a certain level of like monotonous work that goes into any goal, whether that be building a business, whether that be losing 10 pounds of fat, whatever. There's a certain level of repetitiveness, I think, that you can't avoid, but within that you can spice it up. You can you know, get a similar result by doing something just a little bit differently, whether that be changing up your workouts, like in your case, or yeah,
exactly. Just again, like finding what works for you and stuff that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be like, again, there's a point where repetition will get you there quicker, probably, but at the end of the day, if switching it up every once in a while is going to keep you motivated, then do that.
So a couple things there. One, you got to find a plan that works for you. 2, got to keep it interesting. And what did you just say? I was going to say something else about that, but I can't remember.
Having a plan?
No. Oh, well. It came and it went. Cool. Love that, babe. Moving on for me. Mine's kind of similar to your first point here, and that is your why. You know, I think like you need to have a strong enough why you're doing something, you know, for whatever the goal is that you need this motivation for. So, you know, example, maybe you just want to lose some fat. Okay, why? To look better. Not good enough, you know, like, you might want it really bad right now, but then, you know, come the weekend and you got invited to pizza and beer night, and like, does I want to lose some weight outweigh fun with friends and pizza and beer? And that's not to say you can't lose weight and enjoy those kind of things, but your like level of commitment isn't going to be there. So I think having a stronger why.
I love that. I feel like a lot of women that I work with that are moms or, you know, eventually want to have kids, that's like a really strong why. It's like, I want to be healthy, not only for me, but for my kids. So I have the energy to play with them. Like just going so much deeper than like, I want to look better, because at the end of the day, that's only going to keep you motivated for so long. But if you have this underlying deep meaning why you want to accomplish X, Y, Z, then you're just going to have, you know, on days that you don't want to do it, you go back and remind yourself, why did you start this in the first place? And you can kind of use that to continue forward.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like, I feel like most people, I know I'm kind of like this, like, you know, until something's like on fire, you don't really like, you know, put that much effort into it, if that makes sense. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I was just thinking about like, you brought up the point that people, like having kids is a great why. I agree. I think also like another strong one, like that instantly comes to mind is like your health is in danger. Like your doctor telling you need to lose weight or you will die, which as much as that sucks, but like that's going to be a strong motivator. And unfortunately I feel like
people wait too long,
you know, and until things are a problem. And then, you know, it's either that much harder or some stuff is maybe, you know, irreversible or whatever. And so I get it. It's hard to, you know, take that action before it's like sirens blaring, like alert, alert, alert.
Bringing it back to the first point is to get started.
Yeah, exactly. Just get started. Didn't mean to derail that there.
No, I love it.
So yeah. What else you got?
This is my last big one is...
Let's save the best for last.
Yeah.
Drum roll, everybody.
Well, just to stay motivated, like it kind of ties into having a strong why, but embodying who you want to be as a person. Like, not to say you can't go to pizza and beer night, but like overall, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this super healthy, active person, or do you want to be the beer and pizza guy night?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, not to say that you can't have that in moderation, but it's about really like, I don't know, not to get all woo-woo, but like stepping into your true self, like who you're supposed to be, what feels natural to you. And maybe natural isn't the right word, because at first it might feel really hard, but when you start to see this progress and these results, then you'll understand. And yeah, again, just like embodying this type of person. What did you had a great it
was from Atomic Habits, which I don't know if I feel like we might have talked about this last week, but like Atomic Habits, if you haven't read it, it talks about like there's a circle, right? And then there's in the middle there's like your identity, like who you are, and then there, I forget what the second layer was, but the outside layer was like your habits. And you know, a lot of people try to change their habits or the things on the furthest outside of the circle in order to change their identity, and it rarely works. Like I can't even think of an example, but basically what he talks about doing is like you can't just change your habits, like you have to literally change who you are, like and step into this new role, step into this new identity, and that's how and then the habits will follow, instead of trying to go the other way.
Yeah, it's also like logical levels of change. So wait, I'm pulling it up. I don't have it memorized. So like number 1 is like purpose and goal. Like, again, like where you're going, like the big picture. And then number 2 is identity. Number 3 is values. Number 4 is beliefs. Number 5 is potential. 6 behavior. Environment is 7. Oh my God.
Yeah, and like the higher up you can make the change.
Trickle. It's like a trickle.
Yeah, the more trickle. Yeah. So if you don't want to like try to change your behaviors, you want to start identifying as someone who, you know, does or doesn't do certain things. Like in the Atomic Habits book, I don't know why that's so hard for me to say today. He talks about like a smoker and like someone who's trying to quit smoking. Like who do you think is going to have a better time or be more successful at quitting smoking? The person when they're offered a cigarette that says, "Oh, I'm trying to no thanks, I'm trying to quit," or the person's like, "Oh, no thanks, I'm not a smoker," or "I don't smoke." You know, like, and just because you used to do something or have a certain type of behavior doesn't mean that you're that person forever. Like you can change and start to identify as something new, something else.
I just did a training for my clients on the logical levels of change, and I was talking about how I have made my identity so many different things over the years. Like
you're a great example of that.
Like, you know, I was the shy, quiet, mute girl growing up, you know, then I went to college and I became the party girl. Then after college, I became, you know, pro dancer, NFL cheerleader girl. And then after that, I changed it again to
health and wellness.
Yeah, health and wellness. Like I've changed my identity so many freaking times. And like at the end of the day, it's still me, but you can decide one day that you want to be someone something different if you
Right.
want to. You don't always have to be like, just because of like your past experience or past or who you are, doesn't mean you are stuck in that identity. You can be whoever you want to be.
Love it.
Yeah. Love that.
Boom. My last one here kind of ties into your first one, I think. And it's just, having like just getting better at planning your goals. And I think people sometimes lack motivation because they just suck at planning their goals. And typically I think people make their goals too big, or at least, not to say that you should make small goals, but like you should at least make like bite-sized goals of this big lofty goal. You know what I mean? Like the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? You don't try to...
I've never heard that.
You never heard that? How do you eat an elephant?
No.
One bite at a time.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't try to swallow the elephant whole.
Right. Yeah,
that would suck.
Yeah,
And
no,
the
that would
thought
hurt.
of actually having to do that sounds horrible. And you'd put that off as long as possible, just like these big lofty goals that you're making, that they seem so grand. And, like writing a book, same thing. How do you write a book? One word at a time, like you don't have to sit down and write a fucking book.
Yeah.
You maybe come up with a title or the outline of the book, and so like, let's say somebody wants to lose 50 pounds, right? That's a decent amount of weight to lose, and it's not going to happen, overnight or in 6 weeks. But, let's say you gave yourself 12 months. That's only 12 and a half pounds per quarter. That's only 4.12 pounds per month, or 0.14 pounds per day. Now, unfortunately, your fat loss isn't going to be that linear, that perfect, where you're going to, lose exactly 0.14 pounds per day. But hopefully you get the point in that, if you have this bigger goal or goal of any kind, I think it's important to have these smaller goals just to make it more digestible, but also to check something off, to cross something off the to-do list.
Celebrate the small wins.
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
so then you build trust in yourself, and then you trust yourself to accomplish these bigger goals.
Love it. So yeah, that's how you stay motivated. Got anything else?
I think that was pretty good.
So to wrap it up, first off, you don't stay motivated. You just get started.
Yeah.
And having a better why, planning better.
Yeah. Something that works for you.
Find something that works for you, and, find a routine and switch it up when needed to, Routines get stale, so find a new one.
Change your identity.
Step into that identity, make change from the inside out, not the outside in, and make sure to subscribe for more episodes.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Peace.
Doses.